What's up, YouTube? You checking out the Frequent Flyer, and this here is the awesome Q95. Awesome is the brand name, but is it awesome? Well, this quad is very reminiscent of the King Kong 90 GT. It's very similar in its flight characteristics and feel, and I'm thinking maybe because it has the same 1103 7800 kV motors as the King Kong 90 GT, and it also improves on a few things that the King Kong 90 GT was lacking. This quad also has 10 amp ESCs over the 90 GT, so it has a little more power, and that allows for this to actually support a 3S battery, in which the King Kong 90 GT could not support. And this quad also has OSD, even though the OSD isn't hooked up. I don't know why they did that, included an OSD and didn't actually hook it up. But anyhow, the last thing that this has that the King Kong 90 GT was lacking is a buzzer. So this quad actually has a buzzer, so you have some sense of when the battery is dying. Whereas on the King Kong 90 GT, you just had to go by the performance of it and sensing that the battery was a little low. But this quad, it has those improvements over the 90 GT, but those improvements come with a fault though. So this thing suffers from brownouts. Now, it doesn't come with a battery, but I noticed when trying to fly this quad with the King Kong 90 GT's battery, it has brownouts, because it's drawing a lot more power, and the OSD, even though it's not hooked up, it even draws power from that because it's built into the board. So no way to really stop the power from getting to it or stop it from drawing power. But once you get a nice enough battery to fly this thing with, it's a pretty decent flyer. But I must say I had less problems with the 90 GT out of box. Actually, I had no problems with the 90 GT. That thing was just awesome out of box. The best experience out of box that I've had with these micro brushless quadcopters. Well, this one, first of all, it didn't come with a battery, and it didn't come with mounting screws for the props, even though these props are my favorite props, and they give you 2 sets of them, and you really don't need mounting screws to keep them on the motors. But for some people, I understand it's just that added security of having the motor mounting screws on there. And so some people just won't go without the mounting screws. And so I guess that can be counted as a negative. This comes with prop guards. I've never tried the prop guards before. As you can see, the package is still sealed, but it does come with them. And this frame actually has these legs on them. Now, it's like a double-edged sword with these legs, I guess. These legs allow for you to almost always have a level landing, because most batteries are not taller than these legs are, so you can take off from a level surface most of the times. Whereas with other quads, you're sitting on the battery and the wire is in the way or whatnot, and you're not taken off from a level landing there. And the downside to that is I don't know how well these would hold up in a crash. I have never crashed this thing very hard, but I'm thinking that they might be a little fragile. They look it anyhow. They're not carbon fiber or anything. They're just plastic, and so they can be removed though. And the prop guards actually have them as well, but I think that they're pretty nice having them on. I like the fact that you can take off from a level landing there, so I'm leaving mines on. But one of the things that I was having a problem with is this camera here. It tends to move because they don't have it secured in there any kind of way. It has these little notches on the side as if you can lock them some kind of way at an angle, but there was nothing included with it to lock those, to lock the camera in position or anything. It's sort of just floating around in there. I put a piece of double-edged mounting tape right here to try to hold it, but it still moves. A lot of times, I guess from vibrations, I'm flying this thing, and when I land, I find that the camera angle is a little more steep or a little more shallow than it initially was when I first took off. So that's one negative about it. The camera mount is, there really isn't a camera mount there, just holding the camera in between these 2 plates there. But I do like the design of this quad though, because these two plates make for a very nice place to put your receiver. I did go with DSM-X, as you can see. This did come with a this did come with a FreeSky receiver, but I elected to use my DSM-X receiver because you guys know I'm a DSM guy. But for the most part, this thing is a really nice flyer. Flies really awesome, flies nice on 3S and 2S. Seems like it doesn't need any tuning for the most part when you're switching from 3S to 2S. It's just a very smooth flyer, and I think that's because of the motors there and the props. The combination of the motors and the props make this thing a very smooth flyer. And these props are awesome. They're not indestructible, but they're very hard to break. You can bend them all the way and bend them back and they don't get a crease in them. And they always seem to stay well balanced. So pretty awesome there. I might hook up the OSD one day in a chop shop episode. Oh, the camera is very nice. The camera seems to be a little less in quality than the 90 GT though, because the 90 GT has a 800 TVL camera, whereas this one, I don't think this one is 800 TVL. I think it might be 6 or 7, because it looks like it's more resolution in the picture on the King Kong 90 GT. But for the most part, this thing is a really awesome flyer. So let's go check this thing out in flight. All right, y'all, we out here with the awesome Q95. And I got the 350 milliamp hour battery from the King Kong 110 GT. I did change the connector to XT30 on both. So let's fire this thing up. So let's take off with this thing. There we off. We're gonna do a punch out. So nice punch out with this thing. The battery didn't brown out or anything. So with this, switching it to XT30 seems to be the problem. Well, seems to be the cure for the problem. You can solve the problem by just changing the stock battery to XT30. As far as the 110 GT's battery, it is 35C. As you can see, this thing flies nice. Nice power on it. It's really smooth. I'm in acro mode, by the way. So let's go to some FPV. Looking at the monitor here on the ground. Very clean video feed there. Starting to get some static breakup now. This thing flies nice. I get a little static when I'm over here in this area here. There is a buzzer on this one, so we should be warned when it's about to die. The battery, that is. Circle this pole a little. still no buzzer sounds. Oh, we got some static though. So it does static up a little when I go behind me. Well, that's actually in front of me. Well, that's because I have this directional antenna here. It's facing the construction yard, but this post here is in the way. So maybe that's what it is. That's blocking the reception a little. Fly between these trees here. Okay, we got some of the battery buzzing a little. So over here, you can see I got the lights set up. When I move to the right, oh, it's backwards actually. So it registered backwards when I copied it over to this one. Here we got a little bit of the buzzer there. And it browned out on me. I was doing a punch out to see if it was going to brown out. And I lost all control of it and it just went up in the air. And never regained. But as you can see, none of the props are damaged or anything. Let's see if we have control again. Oops, something's rubbing bad. I think it's this buzzer pad here. The buzzer pad came loose. Yeah, so the buzzer pad came loose. But that's it. That's all the battery we have anyhow. Let me stop the video recording there before we lose it. And so that's it. A quick flight of the awesome Q95. And as you can see near the end of this battery, it did brown out. So I would recommend using a higher C rating on the battery. This one here was 35C, but usually when you go to 80C, 160C discharge rate, then you don't have much problems with brownouts. We're in the air with it. Right off the bat, let's do a quick punch out. So definitely not bad on the punch out. We're in acro mode now. Do a couple flips. A little challenging to keep orientation in the dark here. Just going by the lights. As you can see, I got the lights set up. When I go to the right and the left, the corresponding light in the back flashes. Well, one of them's flashing. I don't know what the other one's doing. It's geeking out. Let's bring it back. And let's do some FPV real quick. Oh man, we got bad reception in the FPV feed. Let's bring it back over here. Let's bring it back. I gotta position the monitor a different way to get a better signal. Let's see. Maybe if I try to lock in on the channel better. Okay, I don't think I was all the way locked in on the channel. I'm gonna try to hold this thing in my lap and get it. Let's see, can we lock in? Okay, so we're locked in. Oh man, but it stopped recording. Well, maybe I wasn't recording. So let's go. Oh! And it just browned out and fell. Let's see if we can take off. Nope. It's dead, guys. Ah, man. I don't know if it browned out or did... I don't know what happened. It didn't seem like it reset it. But it did do that dreaded flip of death So we'll see when we get up to it what exactly happened. Hopefully it didn't take any damage. Okay, so I think it definitely did brown out or something. It definitely did brown out, I think. Wow, and that's weird. Everything seems to be intact. I don't see any damage to it. No physical damage. Let's see if we can still take off. Let's see if the motors are spooled up. Yes, they do, but something's rubbing. See what's rubbing. Something in the rear. Let me check it again. So I think the props are striking the buzzer. Trying to move that backwards and out of the way. So now the prop seems to be striking the buzzer. I want to sit this here, see if I can continue the flight from this area here. Let me see if it's still striking. Yes, it's still striking. Yes, definitely the buzzer. It's striking the buzzer. Okay, I got that out the way. Now let's check this thing and see if it's... I don't know what caused that flip of death there. I don't think it was the battery. Something caused it to flip over though. Whoa. Hard to keep orientation in the dark here when you're flipping. Let's try to do some FPV again. Seems to be flying nice now. Got the patch antenna aimed this direction, so that's why I'm a little confident flying towards this area here. This is a change. Let's try some low level flying. Awesome reception all the way down there. Seems very floaty. Oh. And I kind of lost the reception there. Blacked out on me. So I don't know what caused that brownout there, or whatever. Didn't seem like it was a brownout, or more like something hit the one of the propellers. I'm not sure if one of those. I might have to put some. Let me bring it in so I can talk. I might have to put some heat shrink on these wires here on the diversity antenna on a satellite receiver, because when I picked it up, those were all down, you know, aiming towards the prop. So I'm thinking maybe during a flip or something, maybe one of these got in the way of the prop, or I don't know. I'm thinking maybe it would have maybe chopped it off, maybe. I don't know, just confusing. But let's fly the rest of this the remainder of this battery out. Let's do another punch out to see if it actually browns out. So the buzzer is beeping. It's not browning out though. Now that was the end of the battery there. And so that's it. A quick demo flight of the awesome Q95 with this BetaFPV battery here. We had a weird incident happen where it seemed like it browned out, but it was kind of weird because I didn't hear the ESCs reset, didn't have a desync or anything like that, but I just lost all control. I'm thinking maybe something got in the way of the propeller. Maybe it was either the buzzer, because the buzzer was striking when I got it. I don't know if the crash caused that, but the buzzer was striking. But something might have gotten in the way of the darn prop. But that's it. The awesome Q95. Thanks for watching.